In this video, we are going to talk about 25 negative terms that indicates a wrong option for the PMP exam. Let's start with the first word, which is direct. And why this is wrong? Because in the project management, we don't usually use the autocratic leadership style. We are mostly using other feedback and trying to use a servant leadership. And direct means that the project manager is trying to hold all the power with himself, and this is not a good option. The second word is express dissatisfaction. But here, the expression of dissatisfaction means that the project manager is not proactively dealing with the situation, is just trying to avoid the situation and express dissatisfaction. It doesn't resolve anything. So if you see this term, this indicates that the option is wrong. Don't think it twice. Okay, the third term is fire. Here involves firing a team member. Project managers don't fire. Always try to promote collaboration, to help the team member, get a training for that team member, try to get someone mentoring that team member. Don't fire them. This is the last resort. And usually you find among the options other better alternatives than fire someone or replace someone. So if you have seen this in the option, don't read until the end of the sentence. Just skip it. It's a wrong option. Okay. So the next term is immediately. And why this is wrong? Because if you see in an option immediately, it most probably means that the project manager doesn't take enough time for analysis. So they try immediately to do something without even involving people, without following the processes, without analyzing the situation. So immediately most probably is a wrong option. So be careful of this word. It's like a trap. In some cases, you think that this is good because they are trying to resolve the issue quickly, but it's not. You need to follow the processes. Be careful of this. Okay, so the next term is terminate. Termination of the contract of a provider or of a team member is a last resort as well. So if you find terminate, most probably there are other better alternatives. You need to collaborate, you need to find out the solutions, you need to negotiate the problem with the provider, for instance. This is the last resort. So if you have seen this in the options, most probably this is wrong. Okay, let's move on to the next term, escalate. We have said before that escalation is when you don't have power. You will encounter this a lot in the questions. Sometimes you don't find the term escalate directly. You will find, for instance, the project manager asked the sponsor to deal with this issue. So it's escalation without telling you this term. In all cases, escalation is when the project manager does not have the power to deal with the situation. In such case, escalation is correct. But you will find many other cases when the project manager could resolve the situation, and in this case it's wrong. So be careful with this. In so many cases it's wrong, and sometimes it's correct. So this is a term that you need to be careful of. The next term is reassign. And this is when there is a situation and the team member doesn't know how to deal with something. They find some difficulties. And among the options, you find the project manager reassign the activity to someone else. This indicates a lack of leadership skill because the project manager should instead encourage the team member to do the work. They give them support, they give them training, they ask other team members to help that team member. If you choose the easiest option, which is reassignment, you miss the opportunity of letting the team member learn. And you also miss the opportunity to empower the team member, because this way the team member will not learn and they will always fear of taking up challenging tasks. So reassignment is not the best option. And once you find it, check other options better. Okay, the next term is continue. You might be wondering why continue here is a negative term, because if the project manager will continue doing what they are doing, means that they are not making any proactive actions. If they are not doing any actions, that's something not correct. They need to take actions. Even collecting data or listening to stakeholders is considered an action. If you find that the project manager should continue doing doing something and you find in the situation already a problem, a challenge, then that's a wrong option. You need to find other alternatives. Okay, the next term is ignore, and that has the same meaning as continue. And the next one is pretend, and here it is obvious that this is a wrong option, because pretend is showing something which is not really what you are thinking of. It's not genuine by pretending. So if you encounter this word, then skip the option. That's not right to do. Pretend a certain behavior or to pretend that you are not aware or you are not concerned. Okay, let's move on to the next term, which is dismiss. Dismissing an option. It's most probably not a right option, because you need to be inclusive and listen to all alternatives and not just dismiss options based on your beliefs or your own personal opinion. So dismissing is not a good term usually, and you need to avoid it. The next term is disregard, and it has a similar meaning as dismiss. The next one is decline. Also, declining a request or declining something is not a good option. Instead, we have seen in the positive term, trying to teach the other person why this is not the right thing to do. Try to let them understand why this is not the right thing to do. Try to listen and then convince if it's necessary. But declining just right away, it's not a good option. Okay, the next one is reject, which is the same meaning as decline. The other one is refuse. You can see all these kind of terms are having negative meaning and you need to avoid them in the exam. The next one is exclude. If you have different stakeholders in the options, if there is an exclude this party, then this is wrong. Don't exclude anyone. Keep that in mind. The next one is cancel. It's close to decline or reject or refuse. Canceling something should be the last resort, and it indicates a wrong answer as well usually. Then step back. If you step back, you are project manager. So stepping back from a situation, just watching, is not a good course of action. Refrain as well. Refrain from doing something or hide some information are all negative terms and could indicate a wrong answer. The next one is stop. Stop doing something. This is also a negative term that it might indicate a wrong answer. The next one is interrupt. You remember that we have said that the positive term is listen. And if you are not listening well, if you are not adopting an active listening skill, you are interrupting people. And interruption is not good. You need to listen to people and you should not interrupt anyone during a meeting. Okay, the next one is side with. You should not side with anyone. Just side with the right behavior and the right choice. You should not, like, if there is a conflict, side with a party means that you are having a personal opinion. That's not good. Try to facilitate the problem and try to explain all parties that your focus is the problem. You'd like to resolve the issue. You are not siding with anyone. Just resolving the issue is your ultimate objective. The next one is postpone. This means that you are not proactive and you are waiting until making decision or until analyzing decision or taking actions. This is not a good term. Also here, the same for postpone is wait until something happens. This also means that you are not proactive, and this is a negative term. So all these are negative terms, and if you find any of them, most probably this option is wrong. But as always, there is no 100% guaranteed. You need to check the situation. If you are at the end of the exam and you don't have enough time to read the situation carefully, then you can use this technique, like check the good words, the bad words, and check the options based on what I have taught you during this video and the other video about positive words. That's in case you don't have enough time and you have a lot of questions and you need to finish the exam before the end of the time. But in the normal case, try to go through the situation and hopefully this will help you selecting the right answer quickly.